Hi everybody, it's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert. Welcome to Terrific Tuesday. So I'm going to tune in over here to my laptop so I can see all the questions coming in as we go live tonight. And we are talking about highly sensitive people and how to be successful as a highly sensitive person. I get quite a few questions about that. Being highly sensitive generally means that you're empathic or that you're spiritually gifted, but it doesn't have to be one and the same. Highly sensitive people and empathic people, they are a very special gift to this planet. Hi Cherie, thank you for joining tonight. And so, hi Nancy, thank you for joining tonight. Hi Missy, thank you for joining tonight. So I wanted to share a little bit about what it's like to be a highly sensitive person versus an empathic person. A highly sensitive person is somebody who feels things, senses things more deeply than other people. Hi Chad. So being very highly sensitive means that when there's a loud noise, you're more likely to pull back from it than most people. You can also sense when, hi Anna, so you can also sense when somebody's angry or upset or tension in the room. It just means that all of your senses are a little bit more heightened than everybody else. And what I'm discovering is that children that are, between, like 5 or 6 years old and about 10, have a great bit more of the highly sensitiveness than those in my age dynamic and those in their 30s. So the high sensitivity sometimes will be labeled as hyperactivity because these children have to keep moving all the time to process the energy that's coming toward them. And drugging them up is not the answer. And I want to remind you that in wisdom, I am not a doctor and I'm not a physician. So if you have children that have those difficulties or you have other children that have those challenges, make sure that you work with all of the available sources and resources you have to help them. An empathic person, on the other hand, is somebody who can read those energies coming towards them much more prolifically. Sometimes they'll hear things other people don't hear, feel things other people don't feel, and it's just such a fine line. It's like two sides of the same coin, but a little bit different. So if you're spiritually gifted, where you see, feel, sense, or know things that other people don't feel, sense, or know normally, then you might be gifted. So again, it's kind of a muddy water for me because I have both. But I do know people that don't necessarily talk to angels, don't feel the presence of angels or deceased loved ones. They don't have clear recognition, clairsentient, clairaudient, all those kind of things. But they still are very sensitive. Hi, Susan. And for those people that are highly sensitive, it is good to find a way to manage those sensitivities and be sure to give yourself some time and space away from others so that you can detox. Because that's a lot of stimulation. When you go out, into the general population every day, there's just so much coming at you all at once and you're like, oh, and you get to a point you can't handle it and you have to go home and shut the door and detox from all of that. And that in itself can be burdensome. Hi, Orlando. And my desired outcome tonight is to share enough with you to let you know that there are skills to develop to help you move through being sensitive, not move away from it, not guard against it, not push it away. That's what I see so many people do is they push it away because they don't know how to deal with it. Or in my case, when I was little, I was told it was bad or wrong, or it wasn't polite to sense and know these things that I just sensed and knew. So if you are highly sensitive, I do recommend that you go find some resources on the internet for highly sensitive people. There's a couple of different authors out there that are really fantastic. And they talk about what it looked like for you as a child or growing up, and how those things might have hurt your inner child and stunted your growth and made you feel lesser than. And those are some great resources for you to have. What I would like to share with you tonight, I'm going to go over to my website here really quick. And I want to talk about how that the world we live in has so many energies coming at us. If you think about it just for a moment, you have right now Facebook, whether it's in your phone or on your laptop that you're viewing me, that transmission has to come from somewhere. And if you're on Wi-Fi, that means it's traveling through the air. If you have radio, satellite, the same way, microwaves, and then just the sound of traffic or the beautiful sound of a thunderstorm. All of those sounds and noises are coming at you at once in different frequencies and different harmonies. And when you feel them on your body or in your toroidal energy field, it's kind of a push or pull situation. It can, you know, it just gets you to where you're like, you know. So the best way to process it, or that I've found for me, is to breathe a lot, to take some nice, deep, diaphragmatic breaths, and just allow yourself to cleanse your energy field around you. That's your toroidal field. Hi, Tracy. That's your toroidal field. So if you take your hands and take your middle fingers and stretch your arms all the way out in a giant letter T, and turn around in a circle, don't get dizzy. And that circle is your energy field. It's called your Taurus or your toroidal field. And that energy comes in through the top of your head, goes all the way down your spinal column, out below your privates, and comes up underneath your feet and back up through the top. Now for some people, that comes up through the bottom and all the way out, and then like a beautiful fountain on the top. But any way that you want to look at it, that's your toroidal field or your Taurus. That's Taurus. If you care to look it up on the internet and press images, there's some beautiful images. They even have a few showing people standing inside of their own field. That's also your electromagnetic field. In my world, my Taurus goes down all the way underneath my feet and then comes back up into the private area and re-enters the spinal column. I have noticed on the internet that sometimes they'll stop at the knees. That's just, you know, their conception. So however that works for you. But knowing that you have that energy field, and it can be bombarded and disturbed by many things. Microwave, Wi-Fi, different technologies, different frequencies. So clean it out at least once a day. And the way that I recommend, and the tool that I'm sharing with you tonight, is to discover how you're oriented, whether you want to bring energy through the top or you want to bring it up through the bottom first. And so later today, take a nice deep breath, or after that, if you're watching this Facebook Live, take a nice deep breath and begin to bring that energy in. You can visualize it coming up through the private area and going up your spinal column all the way up and out like a beautiful fountain as you're breathing, and then down around you and back down below your feet and coming up again. Or if that feels counterintuitive, you're like, oh, that doesn't quite feel right, then bring the energy in through the top of your head. Visualize a rainbow or a sunbeam coming in through the top of your head and going all the way down through the spinal column and out down below your feet and coming back up and completing the cycle. The thoughts that you have in doing that focuses the energy there as you're breathing and helps to clean it out. So that's my tasty tool for tonight. Miranda says, can your Taurus change directions? Miranda, thank you for asking that question. Absolutely. There are people like me that they call top-heavy. So that means I draw divine love in through the top, and then it comes down through the bottom, and I have to balance my feet, to navigate my feet, right? There are other people that they bring it up from Earth Mother through and come up and around. And that's one direction or the other. But Miranda, yes, I do have 2 people now in my life that I have met that I can watch, watch their energy field go like this. And it's almost like watching lungs breathe, lungs in and out, and their Taurus will go bzz, 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 simultaneously, because they're oriented so balanced between the divine and the earth energy that they can do that. I've been working on that for a while, just not my gift. But yes, it can change directions. If you have questions about it, if it's causing you problems or headaches, please let me know. Hi, Feli. Nice to see you. All right. So if you are a highly sensitive person, I've given you a few tools to work with. If you're thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up. Thank you. If you are empathic, like I said, that's 2 sides to the same coin, but just a little bit different, because I do know people highly sensitive that don't have any sensitivity awareness whatsoever. They have them, we all do, they're just not aware yet. Hi, Renee. So the next thing I would like to share with you is that when I was younger, I was highly sensitive, but I also had the clairsentience and clairaudience and a bunch of the other clairs. And when you have those, that adds a new level. So some of my clients that have come to see me have recently shared the following things. And if you find that you resonate with any of these things I'm about to share, and you would like to know how to normalize them for you, how to make them work for you, instead of be afraid of them, then I invite you to join me in a little one-to-one conversation where I can talk to you personally and I can actually hear you and if we FaceTime, see your beautiful face. So if you would like to, either if you're seeing this live or if you're watching the broadcast later and you would like to have a one-to-one consult with me or a personal meeting with me, I guess that sounds better, I will talk to you for a little bit and find out what's going on in your world and see if we can be of some more help to you to get you to a place where your gifts are more manageable or more easy, more effortless, and less scary. So here's some things some of my clients have told me in the past, and some in the recent past, and a couple of them that are already working with me in my Spiritual Level 1 class. So one of the things that I hear frequently is that people will start to fall asleep, sometimes highly sensitive, sometimes empathic, and they're just about asleep but not quite, and they hear somebody call their name in their ear, as if a person was leaning down going, Deanna, right? And it scares them. That is usually your guidance calling you, but not always. Then there are highly sensitive people and empathic people who keep being bombarded by the same circumstances over and over again, by the same people over and over again, and they're done. They tell me, Deanna, I am so done. I cannot have another person like that in my life. What part of done didn't the universe understand? I've heard that before. And the answer is that there is something going on in the universe to bring things to your attention, to help you to learn. But if you don't know that's what the universe is doing, you're blocking the universe out. You're blocking the messages out because you can't deal with it anymore. You don't have to deal. It's a level of understanding of what the universe is delivering right to your door, the beauty of what it's bringing you, if only you knew how to use it. So if you feel like that, please reach out to me. If you also see things other people don't see, like out of the corner of your eye, and you kind of turn a little bit and you're not sure what's there and it frightens you, or perhaps you feel things standing behind you and there's nobody there, that can be several different things. Again, That has to do with being a highly sensitive person, because you're sensing energy, you're sensing frequency of different things that optically are not there. Because if you look at a rainbow and you look at all the colors of the rainbow, those are the color frequencies the human eye can see. But there are color frequencies beyond that that we don't see, but we can feel. So if you're having challenges in that area, let me know. I'll be more than happy to show you how to put your sensitivity out there and really feel what is that, so that you no longer have to be afraid. It's an amazing thing once you gain that tool. And so since we've got everybody on here, is there anybody that has the question so far? Please to put it in the feed and I'll be happy to answer it. I know this is a little bit lighter subject than we've talked about in the past. Let's see what else I promised to talk about. Okay. One of the biggies in my personal life and other highly sensitive people is how many of you in the audience have ever had somebody drain your energy. And they just plug in and they suck you dry, and then when you don't have any more to give, they throw you in the corner and leave you like trash. And then you pick yourself up and you're like a little deflated balloon, you know, or a deflated tire, and you go and you have your energy back, and guess what? Here they come again, and poof, they plug right into you, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to not let them plug in. That to me is irritating. I know I usually speak a lot of love and a lot of joy, but I'm getting real with you tonight. It's irritating when you have energy and somebody just plugs right into you and drains it all out. They don't even bother to ask you. And of course, if they did, you'd say no. And thank you, Missy, for saying that they rob you of your energy. Yeah. And there ought to be a way for you to say no and mean it. Now, for those of us that have children and we attend to the children and we're moms, or maybe you're a single dad, or maybe you're the parenting dad, we do give a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of energy to raise kids and to be there for them and provide for them and do all the things we have to do in a day. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that are like energy vampires. People that just drain you being near them. And I know that I've had energy drainers in my life that plugged in, and I felt like I had the two little outlets here, you know, that you see in a little box where you plug in. And I couldn't figure out how to unplug them, and so I tried ignoring them. I tried being mean to them, yes. I tried being mean to them, get them away from me. I tried not being around them and shutting doors, and no matter what I did, they seemed to like come on in. Well, part of that is because at a very basic level, you're a healer. You are a white blood cell to the planet. That's your job. That's what you do. You provide energy for other people, but you don't know it. And how can you provide energy successfully if you don't realize that you're a conduit? That's how come it's inflation, deflation, because you don't realize it. So, learning to flow divine love. Nancy says, just does that with customers and staff, hard to be on all the time. Yes. But highly sensitive people generally are a light. And if you, especially this time of year, as more and more bugs come out, if you have a light, all the bugs go to the light. They don't bother with the darkness. You're a light, and you let off a beautiful, loving energy. And there's so many people in this world that need and are seeking that love and that intimacy. And I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. I'm just talking about intimacy. And if you have a loving heart, they come to you and they're like, oh, hug me, love me, you know, and you do. And the next thing you know, they're like, oh, look, there's a source. You know, there's one source out of maybe 10,000 people. So you're highly sought after. So it's learning to flow the divine love through yourself to fill your own space up. And then after that, it's about establishing other tools so that you can help that person to be plugged in for themselves, therefore fulfilling your natural gift and talent. So if you have that natural gift or talent, again, whether you watch this live or whether it's later, just put down here in the comments, even if it's on YouTube, put in the comments that you would like to have a one-to-one consult with me, and I'll talk to you about how we can get you started in living a more fulfilled, joyful life without feeling so drained all the time. So thank you. Thank you. I'm getting some hearts. Thank you so much for that. And let me make sure that I write out what I write in my blog on toolsofenergyprotection.com, so I make sure to tell you what I promised I was going to tell you. So what else? So yeah, one time I found the inner world very unwelcoming place. They just want to plug in, drain me, and then leave me on my own to recover. And so I had to learn how to work with that and flow the divine love so that I'm never empty, but also how to gauge that so that I don't end up being an endless source of energy for people and they don't learn how to do it on their own. And then your gifts, if you go beyond that and you're really gifted and you have clairaudience or clairsentience or clairvoyance, sometimes those gifts can feel like they're not a gift at all because you feel and sense things that are icky, and if you dare say anything to anyone, they think you're a little cuckoo. And they want you to take medication and, and stuff like that. And hi, Candace. And, again, in wisdom, I'm not a therapist, and there are people that do have chemical imbalances, and they do need to get some real treatment and help. But I'm speaking to the people that God has called, that Spirit has called, and given you that beautiful gift within yourself. I don't often get on a soapbox. In the old days, I'd have a soapbox, and they'd put it in the street, and the person would stand on it and talk and all that. So here's my soapbox message. Right now, where we are in time and space, and the frequencies of the planet, and our evolution as human beings and spirit beings, there are a lot of negative vibrations going on the airwaves at all times right now. That's why I stepped it up on social media. How many of you flip through your social media and it's just negative after negative after bash after bash after bash, and there's hardly anything uplifting? There's a lot of places out there that are putting uplifting stuff out. But there's a battle going on right now for your very divine soul, for your spirit self. And the darkness knows that its time is limited, and so the vibration of darkness is getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And I just did an inner circle for energy shifts where we talk deeply about what these things are going on. And some of the pervasive energies that are happening on the planet right now are self-hatred, self-loathing, self-sabotage. And some of us have had those buried deep inside for a long time. And all of a sudden they're popping up, and we have to let them go, work through them, resolve them so we can move forward and have a loving heart. That loving heart is the secret to being here at this time and space, but they would have you believe that that loving heart is a bleeding heart, or you're too sensitive, or, there's no space for you here because you're not tough enough. You've got to get tougher, and you need to step up, and all these other things that I hear. And it's just a way of covering your heart. Because when your heart is covered, you can't feel, sense, or know Spirit, God, or Source at the deepest level. And it stops you from ascending, and it stops you from your gifts, which are clear knowing, clear seeing, all these other gifts. And if you know, or you hear, or you see what's really happening on the planet that you're living in, then you don't have to listen so much to the people that are doing this on television. Right? I hope they don't swipe my video off for this. You know, like I said, try not to get on the soapbox too often. But it is just, there's a huge spiritual battle right now for you. If you're here tonight, there's a reason. So I'm calling you out, and I'm offering you an opportunity to talk to me on the phone, no charge, so that I can see where you're at and give you some guidance to go forward. So just please put your, information down here. Say, I want to be contacted. And as far as I know, I can click on that and private message you. Or you can private message me on my Facebook page. Or if you're on YouTube, there's some links down below for you to get a hold of me. But right now, the body, the whole, everybody needs the white blood cells. So find out how to shield yourself. We talked about one tonight, bringing the divine light in through the toroidal field, or this, you can bring it in this way or up this way and begin to get yourself shielded. But there's so much more that I would just love to share with you. Ways to exist in this world in peace and joy and know your place in this world. Know why you're here. Know what you're doing and why the people are in your life that are. And get rid of that pain and quit carrying that burden. So that's it. I've gone on before on these topics. Sometimes I'll end up talking for an hour, and I only mean to be on for 20 minutes. So tonight I'm going to cut it short. And next week, I haven't decided yet on the topic for next week. So if you have any suggestions and you want to put them down here in the feed, I'm thinking that tonight we talked more about highly sensitive people. And not so much about having spiritual gifts and spiritual empowerment through those spiritual gifts. I'm thinking that might be the topic for next time. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me as always. Big hugs and big kisses to everybody. Spread love and joy as much as you can. And I will see you next time.